Hello. Still setting up the vacuum. Give me a second. Is there anything decent on this list? Carol said lying like 01 isn't good. No. Okay. stuff by anybody else. Alright. Close this. And we pray really hard that my internet does not want to crash itself. It's likely going to happen though. I'm a pain and a pain and a checking on some numbers and hell livers. It appears they're continuously being dog shit. No doubt about a bitch. We're still not done in the fucking city. My head hurts. My head hurts. My head hurts a lot. Oh my god. My head hurts. What horseshit would appear unmitigated, everlescent horseshit? Deal with that another time. Okay. Hello, everyone. We're going back over the rest of the TikToks that are in the backlog. I actually added a couple more because they happened to come up. So we're going to go through them. Is there anything that I left unspoken before? I don't think I did. However, let's start off with something light. There is an obsession right now that the internet has with this particular song. So Far, So Fake from Pierce the Veil. It appears that his rock band, an American rock band even, post-hardcore, pop, punk, experimental rock, emo, progressive rock. Well, Lord knows I love me some prog rock. So, Pierce the Veil, So Far, So Fake. Of course, it's 2 years old. So which one of these is the most accurate one? Is this the music video? And this is the official lyrics. Okay. Hello, Boster.
So far, so fake. I don't want to answer the phone, rather watch it rain.
It's like sloganeering rock. Comparative to sloganeering rap, but different. If you told me that Theo 3 had disbanded as a pop group trying to make top chart bangers, and they worked alongside DEV to try and reinvent the prog rock scene of experimental sounds, I would believe you. And then again, how long has it been since Bass Down Low?
Take me away.
rock shit. And these particular parts of the chords don't feel very energetic to me. It's just normal. It's like normal AMV dad rock. Now that is inventive. I like the drums. For meditation purposes, I've been saying things like screaming irritation and pain instead of just getting upset as fuck. That was 12 uninterrupted attempts to reconnect to the internet while my internet was knocked off. Very upset. I'm very upset. And that is the reason why there was not a broadcast yesterday, because that kept happening all day. And apparently it's going to keep happening today. Hi, horror. I am Nick Vodes. I have 5 chins. Ah! Anyways. Where was I in the middle of this? Oh, yes, that is right. I was talking about this particular thread and trend that's been going on with this particular song. And we were going through it as I was reacting to it and I was describing it. And the exact second that I paused it to try and describe what this song is, that's when the internet died. Do I even remember the words? I did. Do I even... Yes, I do. So, the entire trend of songs that come from songs on soundtracks for things like Pretties, or rather Uglies. Let me see if I can go find the song I'm talking about. So, Natalie Jean's The Top from like 10x months ago from the Uglies 2024 film. Skip that startup section.
Diamonds in the rough. Everybody waits for disaster. Don't believe in Wonderland. Don't even know what I'm after. Formula abandoned.
This song has the exact same type of vibe.
But your apologies are only selfish revenge. Infinite imaginary lines. Brainwashing prison, we're all going. Sooner or later, just turn on the lights and realize it's all in your mind. Just watch. Just don't worry. Just like brain freeze, you'll fade. Now there's a fire in the speakers and blood on the master tapes.
If you told me that this song had been included in some young adult adaptation for, I don't know, Scott Westerfield's The Midnight Hour? I think it's Scott Westerfield. Am I getting my authors mixed up again? No, I think I got it wrong. the Secret Hour is what Midnighters is called. Is the Midnighters trilogy. Yes. Author is right, title is wrong. Anyways, if somebody had told me that they had made a Midnighters trilogy series, TV, short assumption, something, I would believe you. Because even though TikTok trends go around, and they are very, like, cut and dry, like, I'm pretty sure, particularly for shows for So Far So Fake, it's just this drum solo and guitar breakdown. If people actually, like, listened to the whole fucking song clips instead of just, like, the shortened 30 seconds that then get even further elapsed down to, like, 5 to 7 seconds, this one is 9 seconds. And you told me that it was done, like, as a 30-second spot leading up to, like, multiple TikTok edits of a particular scene. Like, okay, so Beautiful Creatures, one of the films we watched on the last movie night. If you told me that this was made for an adaptation that was a remake of that film, and that Emmy Rossum was doing lyrics for the song, featuring side vocals from fucking Brie Larson, I would believe you. It feels like it has no personality and is trying desperately to be the prog rock presentation of that one bit from The Summoning for Sleep Token. And I'm sure somebody could make the exact same argument about Sleep Token. And I'm certain that the people who say that Ghost is Scooby-Doo music for rock people, same shit. I don't hate it, but I don't like it. But of course, we haven't even gotten to the fucking breakdown solo in the original song itself. As for this girl's vibrato, a lot of autotune, or like they didn't play this song except for once in the back half of the film, and that was like during the credit sequence.
Just watch, just watch, 'cause I'll be waving at you from the top. Just watch, 'cause I'll be waving at you from the top.
I don't know what to call this. It's not girly pop, and it's not cunty. I don't even think it has tea in it. It's got tea something. Anyways, back to you.
Distance yourself from me. There's only dangerous that way. Cauterizing the veins you lacerate. The ache, take it all away from me. I keep it harder in case you twist your blade. Cut you out because I don't think that I'm sick. You steal your heart and deny resuscitate. The ache, take it all away from me.
We finally arrived at the meme. Let's go back over and let's not fucking pause break over it.
These days I think are so strange. No cuts, no trust, name no names. Armless, we swim over flames. It's coming around this time. It's coming around this time. These days I think are so strange. No cuts, no trust, name no names. Armless, we swim over flames. It's coming around this time. It's coming around this time.
It's like if the sons of Kings of Leon and the daughters of Coldplay got together, started fucking throughout all the summer, and they started pumping out classics. And this was one of the experimental chord tracks that they happened to lace over. And one of the guys were like, "Yeah, I'm gonna whisper some shit. I'm gonna whisper some shit over the track. Lazy, hit the fucking drums." I don't hate it. It definitely feels like it's supposed to be the fucking love song that's gonna be playing at that concert in the background in the alternate history that I can't seem to remember that fucking clip came from, of Kirsten Stewart all over then Robin Pattinson during the time period between New Moon and Eclipse. But the fact that they are all over this section, and yet nobody seems to be making a clip about this section, I find that to be fucking sad. Me, I like audio layering. I like audio layering a lot. Always have. The things that people can do with acapellas and short breaks and ad-libs to fill for space and sound over the track while you just watch Leonard charrette on the guitar has always been something that fascinates me, even though I can't find my own guitar anymore. I don't know if it's because we lost or if it's somewhere over on that side of the house somewhere. I'm going to have to relearn how to play guitar again. I'm going to have to relearn how to play piano again. Anyways. Listening to the drums and the audio and the vocals and the bass and the drums collectively, you could probably take the vocals out and it'd be just like Soft Spot for JSMN. And yet, this is the part that people went crazy for meme. Oh no, man. Like, the riff is fucking baller. I just like the other part. Then again, the more I see of this particular audio meme with, I want to be nice, and I'm going to say 6 out of 10s, trying to slutify up for attention bait makes the song lose value in my eyes. Only because it's like, doom 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 doom. Man, it goes leave like doom 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 doom. I doom 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 doom. I can't get away from it. Anyways, let's finish the song. It's coming around this time. And then their riff right here. Why is nobody fucking copying this shit? And then it goes right back to the fucking 90s pop shit. I don't know why they didn't just stay with the deep guttural. I'm really not feeling the rest of what they do. That section, no problem. But god damn it, fucking pop chord progression. And this is supposed to be progressive rock. This ain't no prog rock. Helix 1 and 2 is more prog rock than this. I unironically would rather re-listen and re-watch multiple sound albums and sound memes of the Megas and the Protomen rather than this song. But the breakdown inside of this song is okay. Unfortunately, this song and all the fucking edits being used for it
these days I think
all
Away from me.
the same.
Now there's a fire in the speakers and blood on the master tapes. Yeah, you took it all away from me.
Like, the guys dance to it a specific way, the girls dance to it a specific way. And they are attempting to recoin this entire trend as slutty rock.
Yeah, you took it all away from me. Yeah, you took it all away from me.
And you know what the sad thing is? The fucking Rarcore kids, this is their music. How weird is that? We've progressed so far into the future that niggas are biting the style they would have never fucking touched. Never fucking touched! And trying to claim that shit from the fucking Raw XDs! Raw XDs, these nuts! The 90s corpse of Hot Topic is screaming in its corporate casual coffin. I tell you what, I tell you what. Anyways. That is not the only thing that isn't here. So, start off with something light. Work ourselves into a good headspace. This story.
She's married with...
Now, I want you to hear me out, chat. I don't know what kind of cheater you must be to think that you're not just going to cheat on your wife. You're 10 out of 10, has your kids, perfect genetics, hot wife, who apparently is loyal and don't do nothing while she's at home in your house that you pay for, that she upkeeps, and you're telling me that this is the woman you're cheating on her with? The fucking 4 out of 10 doesn't know how to wear a black dress HR woman? But you're telling me that you're going out into public? You're going out into public together to events where you can be recognized as the CEO of a business and everybody knows that's your HR woman? And you don't just choose normal seats. You don't pay for a skybox. You don't do nothing, none of that shit. Not a damn thing for privacy. Near not a one. But you get caught on the Jumbotron and your cheating instincts don't tell you to play that shit the fuck off? Are you serious? Are you fucking serious? Now, of course, there was a person who tried to claim that they were the person who was fired, but no, that person was actually lying. The one who claimed that he was fired because the company that had paid for the thing where he had organized the event for him and then they got caught here, so they got fired for that. No. That would have been wrongful termination. That would have been a full fucking lawsuit. That person was just trying to fucking scheme to get some free clicks and hits. But it didn't matter. Most of the internet has picked it up and taken it as serious. Including TikTok, of all places. However, the Green Cow Lynn, which is Lynn Watchern, is one of the good women on the platform that like to speak on behalf of men. Exclusive, Astronomer HR Chief Christian Cabot appears to be married to CEO of Privateer Rum and bought blank a house with him just 5 months ago. Records. I don't know why cheating, ever since Ashley Madison was revealed to have done nothing to protect the fucking Jodies and the Jodeci's. that were cheating on their spouses and partners while in the military, as well, you know, all the other people who were using Ashley Madison to cheat, has gone so far down that niggas are dumb. But unironically, when I look at this event, this is some stupid, dumb nigga shit. 100%. 100%, 1000%. Because you're telling me that instead of just watching the fucking game from like a hotel room, listening it on the radio, something, you're taking your fucking side piece, who also happens to be the huzz and the HR of your company, out into public. Like, why don't you just cheat like a normal person? I know 10 hood rats in my town right now who are cheating on their men, and men cheating on their women. And both sides think that the other doesn't know that they're cheating. Simply because they don't go to the same places and they don't frequent the same spots with these women that they are hooking up with, or these men that they're hooking up with. How are poor people cheating better than rich people? That's so irritating to me.
2 kids, and yet we see mostly him being shamed for the cheating. And they are both in the wrong. Do not get me wrong here. And it's just crazy to me because both of them probably knew each other were married before they made a move, or even if they started the flirting at some point. I also think this emphasizes the importance of having boundaries in your relationship. Because if they were comfortable enough to go to a concert, it's probably been going on for a while. This probably wasn't their first outing together. Also, when people cheat, they don't realize, but every single outing, every single text, every single phone call, you are raising the chances of getting caught. And chances are you will be caught. So you're better off just leaving the relationship you're in if you're unhappy. Also, when their partner doesn't find out, you see them gradually get more brave with what they're willing to do with the person they're cheating on them with. I know temptation is a real thing, but you need to stop and consider how it's going to impact not only you, but your entire family. Because that's what it comes down to when you cheat. She's married.
The thing that I care more about is, this is an HR woman who effectively has tanked any and all opportunities for that company to get financial contracts with government. That's the thing that I'm mostly interested in. Because as we all know, ESG firms and ESG contracts that are going to check your social governance are going to basically ping you for anything that is considered to be wrong, false, brand unsafe. I don't think we've gone so far down the hole as a society that we have decided that actually, even though it is debauchery and immorality 100% of the time, that a company CEO head cheating with its HR rep and thus effectively destroying all trust in the process of who's hired for what? What, you got them licking you under the desk in order for them to get a job type shit? I don't think they can be able to give you contracts for the government anymore, let alone for social groups, because infidelity is wrong. Like, love is love, but when love involves loving your brother's mother, and your mother is your sister, and your sister's actually your aunt, and your aunt's actually your sister, and your dad is your cousin twice removed, gets a little bit crazy. It gets a little bit crazy. And I don't think anybody's willing to admit that. Because certainly the inside temerity of this company now has to basically fire everybody involved, no? They have to change out the C-suite CEO. They have to change out the HR department. They have to actively do training to teach you not to fuck your coworkers in positions of higher power. Despite the fact that most corporate sharks suck and or fuck their way to the top of business if they are not specifically making evil deals. Like, the fucking chaos is endless. Not to mention that it's just fucking hilarious, you know? I feel bad for the wife. I feel bad for the 2 sons, because much like a kid having the worst hand dealt with their mother. It's only apparently seemingly the mothers. Being known for porn, and then the kids having them be so famous that they will never win a clapback in school because every single time they get roasted, it's going to be like, hey, yo, I'm going to talk to your mom right now. I'm going to go to Jerk Meat and go say hi to her. Hey, Mrs. Tyler, take it all off for $50. Oh, yeah. Like, you can't get away from that. So, your dad destroys your family, and the moment of infidelity is forever captured on the internet, and every single time from then on, your mom just, she hates Coldplay. Like, every single time, like, Levita comes onto the radio, before she even hears the first 5 lyrics, she's gonna say, Alexa, turn that shit off. Like, imagine if it was an Imagine Dragons commercial. And it was instead an Imagine Dragons concert. Like, every single time in my radio station, I turn it in, it's like, Q1073, Columbus. The exact second. Waking up. Oh my God, Gladys, why are you crying? Arrow cheated on me with everything. Seabat could never. Chat, Seabat could never. Seabat could never do this kind of emotional damage. Never. An entire band would be banned in your home forever. Because your dad tried to get freaky at the concert. I'd break my neck. That's all I'm saying. Also, I present to you female examples that there are in fact women with great senses of humor. And this one.
Chicken Nuggets United. It's the SS Chicken Nugget. I'll be back, Chicken Nugget. Pray with me. Dear Lord, please send me a chicken so I can have a nugget. What's up, y'all?
I don't need to really explain to you why the internet is in love with this woman. I really don't have to. I really don't have to. In fact, this isn't even her most famous clip. I'm gonna go get you her most famous clip. I can just play this on a loop. Okay? I can just play this on a loop for you.
You want to play? You want to play a game?
Why does it move so liquidiously? Like the liquidity of the gallop. Forget recoil. This shit has inertia.
You want to play a game? Hi, Chicken Nugget.
The lemon stealing whores joke. The sheer reference of lemon stealing whores.
What?
Every so often, they come around and you find them and they're there. I'm pretty sure she's Samoan. She's some type of native.
Chicken nugget.
Very often, those are timeline purges for me. I feel nothing sexual. Like, nothing. It just cleanses my soul. Because when you see nothing but fucking thirst traps, when you're trying to look for actual material and content, when you come across actual humor, just like the Ember Sweets vlogger, you have to, like, take it in. You know, a sigh of relief. Breath of joy. Because sometimes the shit I end up finding is so fucking bizarre that when I ended up reacting to the ones that was like the AI slop thirst trap sites that specifically tried to use white women as a bit, I eventually got angry at that shit. Because it's like, there's no fucking way that there's a specialized app like that. But I was wrong. There is. For several different types of denominations.
You are
and
eating
groups.
straight eggs, no bacon. The fuck are you doing?
So it opened my eyes. It opened my eyes, bro. It opened my fucking eyes to the world of possibilities. My mind, my eyes, my mouth, Star's legs. And then, of course, ox rings. Being thirsty. Finally, a trend for me. Not to do, just to look at. Whatever could she mean? Luxurious / be your girl Jersey slowed. You all have heard me play this on camera a couple of times. Whatever could be the trend. Well, don't you know, chat? It's a low down trend called the twerk. You see, if the twerk is when women pop it back and throw it back, the twerk is when men jiggle the frame. Jiggle the frame. Jiggle the frame. Such as this. There are multiple trends of it. When women, trans men, everybody getting in on the twerk. Even anime clips of the twerk. However, there's a particular variation of the twerk. There's a particular variation of the twerk that I just appreciate better than most. And it's actually provided some of the best humor that has at least came out of the black side of the caucus. Let me see if I can find one. I don't remember if I... No, I don't think I did. No. No, I did not. But this...
Give it one of these right here. Yeah. Don't be scared of it, though, baby. Be aware of it. I might pass out. If I do it. Give it one of these right here. Yeah.
Like... I don't know why it's so interesting to me. But even the subtle shit I appreciate compared to the overt in-your-face shit. It's just a different world. It's just a different world. At the same time, considering the people that are just announcing that they're getting cracked.
Don't stop me.
So, to explain this one, I gotta tell the difference between cracking and breaking in, or bussing. When you bust it wide open, you bust it in there, you bust it down, you dick down the doonies, you bust it wide open in the doonies, any variation of these. That effectively means that you are just catching it all the time. The clip from the one woman before was, yes, I like to fuck, but I don't fuck anything. I'm not a whore. I'm a slut. That's that. The trend, however, that people have been doing, mostly women, is they are announcing that they have or have not been cracked. And cracking is different. If you're busting it wide open, that already implies that it is cracked. If you're cracking, it means that you have probably had none in a while. At least none that you've written home about. And so, because you did or did not crack, other people have to suffer your wrath or will be given benefits for having been cracked. So, I got cracked last night. Cancellation fees voided for all evening appointments this week. Meaning, the dick was dicking and was receiving of a mild wienerling that was pleasant enough that everybody gets benefits. This is not an alien fact. We've seen examples of this before in society. There's been plenty of jokes about, damn, who you been fucking? Why are you so goddamn happy? Blah, 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 blah. However, I am uncomfortable with the fact of how many women just are openly announcing this shit. And I'm pretty sure most of it is for attention. However, there are some where I don't know if I can find it. I don't think I saved it. There are some with women specifically like announcing that they got cracked so good that they're pregnant. And like, I guess showing off. And this goes alongside this this narrative that's going around of women effectively being told, ew, it's disgusting when you announce that you're ovulating, like you're fetishizing the idea of having eggs. Like you're making it seem that women are just horny creatures that hump everything that moves, and it's like, listen, girls, we understand that there's a difference between wanting to get cracked open and wanting to bust it wide open for that special someone. And then there's what happens on girls' weekends, where the girls go around and piss in a cup and or have to pass this shit around and back to other people so that they can then be able to find out who in the group is pregnant. Because they all got cracked by the same group of guys, if not the same guy, while on a girls' weekend vacation. I find it so irritating. Ow, my kneecap. I find it so irritating. Because it leads to a level of discourse that I don't like. That particular discourse, of course, coming from such women that give diatribes like this bullshit. Click, post, boom, boom, boom. The sexualization of ovulation needs to stop. It's getting very weird. Portraying ovulation as a period of uncontrollable lust is harmful, considering that girls as young as 8 and 10 can also ovulate. I don't think it should be portrayed in that manner. Constantly talking about ovulation as though it makes you a rabid, sex-crazed whore is so weird, and I think you guys are doing it to appeal to men. Like, the image that Panda put on top of this is that he reacted to her with an empty carton of eggs. Because it is monkey branch jealousy. Like, how dare you find women that are attracted to people who are not completely broken out of their menstruation cycles attractive? Don't you realize that that's icky and disgusting and dumb? That's just the normal competitive nature of women attempting to condemn a social strategy that otherwise is effective because of the fact that its straightforward nature they cannot directly compete with. So it's like a modern woman saying, ew, how dare you be interested in women like that? And the thing that the woman did was basically that thing that that one blonde girl that I was on that dating show with Baby No Money did, where she just like went up to him, straightened out his hair and some shit. It was really cutesy and shit, and other women didn't like it. Those women were jealous that her dating technique and effective strategy for luring a mate was more effective than theirs. So this here is just pure fucking spite. And I have seen some rancid fucking comments under some of these posts. This one, obviously, like, there are plenty. But on TikTok, you'd swear the misogyny just leapt inside these women. And that they're actually men on the inside. I swear to God. I swear to God. I swear to God. 100%. And of course, every now and again, you've got some posts like these.
Sounds sticky.
Very sticky indeed.
Sounds.
We'll learn more about that when we get into Date Everything. I have no opinions. I've been trying to avoid spoilers. That's one other thing that's going to be coming up soon when we get through all this fucking shit. Which we definitely should be able to, since I'm starting this early in the day. However, I believe you've had enough of a buffer. Let's get into some Stormcloak Carl.
Phrase livable wage is the most polite form of economic violence I've ever heard in my whole life. I can just stand by that. Phrase livable wage is the most polite form of economic violence I've ever heard in my whole life. I can just stand by that. I can just stand by that. Because what is livable wage? Livable to who? For how long? With what dignity? Well, how many skip meals are considered reasonable in this equation? I just want the math to come together. Because you know what livable means in this economy? It means you don't die fast enough to disrupt businesses. It means you just make enough to come back tomorrow. Not enough to rest, not enough to breathe, not enough to leave, just enough to keep showing up grateful.
So, the problem that I have with this, because this is obviously another political post from Cypher J of all people. Everybody give it up for Stormcloak Carl from an alternate dimension. The thing that I do not like about this is that there's a comment here that says the boss will never pay you enough to be his neighbor. And the caption on the post itself, alongside black folks and politics, is we need beyond livable restorative. And the entire nature of it being that it is a livable wage that is being done unto black people. Because all of society wants black people to die. And that's just obvious horse shit. If anything, all the rich people in society that will fuck over their own country want the rest of us that don't directly pay into their pocketbooks to die off so they can replace us with foreigners. And then, for no reason at all, suddenly, Carl became labeled as a member of the alt-right. But I don't even live in England. Because it's threefold, right? On one level, you have an obvious truth that cannot be ignored right now in the economy. And that honest truth is that shit costs too much. It is the consequence of the economy having been ass fucked for 4 years during one very long bad night of Joe Biden. Every time a political cartoonist lies and says, the right wing, they cover for Trump. They cover for Trump. Trump eggs at $7. The eggs were at $7 before Trump. Now when it's at level of Trump, they say it okay because it's their guy. But that's not the case. You've got people trucking people in on H-1B visas, attempting to replace normal citizens that are working with people that are foreigners. Jobs that could go to Americans that are instead being given to, at best, legal migrants that are coming to the country for work under visa. But then, on the farm front, the obvious truth I need to take these chopsticks to the kitchen. The obvious truth has already come to pass. The farms, apple farms, orange farms, cranberry farms, livestock farms, produce farms, mostly ran off of physical labor. They're not out in the fields picking the reeds and the cotton and the food out the ground, but someone has to run the machine. Somebody has to run the survey. Somebody has to go through the almanac and plant the produce for each season's harvest. Especially with the back and forth with specific HGMO seeds that are specifically tied to a specific breeding program, that the farmer has to pay a subsidy to the government, and they're not allowed to keep the harvest of the seeds because the seeds are proprietary contract of that particular produce grower, and they're not allowed to keep any of that extra resource, assuming that it's one of those special brands of GMOs that have to be grown in order for them to have a large stock of the market. And that's not even tying for the amount that we have from inside use. For things like jackfruit, instead of having to import that over the seas from the Caribbean islands, from places like Jamaica, or any other places that you can get it in Africa, we instead grow it a lot here. But all of that field that you dedicate to something like jackfruit, that could have been used to grow something like quinoa or any other type of ancient grain. And even though you can grow a sizable amount of it in specific places that are aerated for it in each of the coasts, West Coast and East Coast, guess what we do instead? So, like, to a combination of the tariffs, a combination of actively trying to fucking create scarcity through the egg crisis, as well as the actual real crises that occurred with things like chicken plants and butcher's houses and slaughterhouse farms. Looking at you, Tyson Chicken, and shit like this. You have a serious drought that has only slowly recovered over time since we stopped allowing people to use political theater and safety theater to terrorize us to stay in our homes forever. Which then created a large requisite amount of money that flew from the liquidity of the mom and pop store, the bodega owner, the tienda owner, and the local corner store owner into the hands of big corporations like Walmart. The kind of business that employs a woman. And yet, for pennies on the dollar, she swipes a card when they give her her money that covers 5%, I think, of a purchase, where $3.27 has been taken off as a discount for a $50 purchase. And you're talking about people needing to pay not 50, not 100, not 150, but 200. Double for all of the natural produce and all of the normal, close to healthy, close to least processed, close to least non-fat substances that they can consume in the past 8 years alone. I say 8 because the last 8 years you can easily track the difference before COVID and after COVID, as well as during COVID. Like, forget the sales of limit per X1. Go into, if you use something like Amazon Fresh, if you've done online ordering to your house, look at your past receipts. Double the price. It's either double, sometimes even 3 times, or 1.5, or it has slowly increased as a premium as the baseline of the livable wage has gone up. That is by design. To the point where you don't have enough from your income to pay for your groceries, but if you make too much from your job, you can't apply for food stamps. And the majority of people, when we were going through COVID, were supposed to be getting supplemental food through food stamps. Yet some people, like myself, never could get it. And I've never stopped trying either. I, in fact, need to remind myself to try again this month and next month and September. It is not a fucking joke that $200 minimum is necessary to feed one person. And you're talking about families having to rely off that? Each person that is able-bodied in the family working two to three jobs, assuming one of those jobs is also on the side as a hobby? Negro, that's not fair. Now, all of that being said, it's not being done to African Americans. It's not being done to African Americans to target them. It's happening to everybody in the social class and social order. If you are lower middle class, maybe even middle class and upper middle class, you're going to feel the churn and burn. But it's not something that's being done by white America to punish the blacks for existing. So, the speech about livable wage being a way to politely suffer and die so that you can come back and you can earn money and be expected to keep coming back just to be grateful that you're not starving to death, that's slave talk. That's explicit bullshit and slave talk. Because that's where you get arguments like, I've always hated the phrase earn a living. What do you mean I have to earn a living? I'm already alive? ? Why don't you just pay for everything in the world? Why don't we have socialism and communism now? It's so broken. It's so fucking broken.
That's the whole thing. And the phrase itself is a gentrified phrase. Livable wage is the gentrified phrase. I can show you what I mean. Livable used to mean I can raise my kid, eat good food, sleep in peace, and not fear this landlord. Now it means I could afford gas station ramen and pray that toothache goes away on its own. When business owners say, when they talk to y'all about livable wage, I want you to understand what's going on. They always talk like this. We can't afford to pay a livable wage.
So, small business owners, he just said that you're a greedy capitalist thief that doesn't want to be fair to your employees. How do you feel? You feel good? Mom and pop shops that have been multi-generational. You were just called sweatshop workers. How do you feel? Feel good? You're a landlord trying to keep your children off the streets with a business that you founded because you saw a vision to supply a service and a good to your community. Pillar of it, possibly even. And, most importantly, pay for my food, take care of my family, not worry about the landlord. Most blacks were homeowners. Most blacks were homeowners. Yes, they burnt down neighborhoods. Yes, it's been a hard time to come back from being fucked with for years and 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 years of problems. However, that happened in the 1910 times. Maybe even closer to 1940s, 1950s times. What's holding you back? Man who sits at home and plays 2K all day, every day? Did slavery affect you in your lifetime? Somebody burn your house to the ground? Tell you, we don't want your kind here. Get out of town. No. So what's this bullshit you talking about? No, that's rhetoric. 100% that's rhetoric. More than likely, it's East Coast rhetoric, if anything.
I want you to hear the translation. I want you to hear the translation. Here's what they're really saying. We need your poverty to keep our profit margin stable. We need your exhaustion to stay in power. We built a system that only works if your soul stays discounted. I just want you to understand the situation. They want you to live in the gray zone between breakdown and submission. And that's where you technically don't starve, but you're never well fed enough to leave. Because livable wage is never about living. It's about controlling how much you have to live. Right, come on, controlling how much you have to grieve. It's the bare minimum you'll tolerate and the slowest path to collapse. It's the least amount of money capitalism can offer without sparking a riot. I just want you to see the situation. Here's the real sting.
If that was the real sting, then the Summer of Love wouldn't have been targeting Target. If that was the real sting, it would have been targeting banking companies. They would have been pulling a Fight Club, and they would have been trying to wipe out the banking debt of every single person living in America. Instead, they were robbing the Foot Locker. How you gonna feed your family with $12,000 J's, nigga? That leather must taste real good. How do you cut up your Air Force jerky? You gotta get straight through the laces. That's where all the good fiber's at. Yeah, I heard if you eat enough J's, it's like leveling up a Digimon. All of a sudden, you become really good at dunking. Fuck out of here. Unironically. So what's the real sting, Cypher J?
The real sting is that the moment that you ask for more, guess what you get called? You get called entitled, you get called ungrateful, you get called unrealistic. You know what they say? You should be happy to have this job.
So that sounds like the language of somebody who doesn't know how to negotiate a higher wage, and or should leave a job position and also inform the Better Business Bureau that they are possibly resistant to change and upbringing inside of the workplace culture because they are not willing to negotiate a path towards success and improvement that starts with negotiation about higher pay. Because you should get paid what you're worth. If you don't know what you're worth, then anybody can give you any amount of money and say, why are you asking for more? But some jobs are designed for people who are young, who have the time to do them. And when it comes time to get a career, that livable wage job at the federal level of minimum wage, which I believe in my town and my state should be the federal wage, which is $7.25. Anything that pays above that, all of that just creates the system that causes eggs to be $7 in places where they have a shortage. Realistically, we shouldn't have a federal minimum wage, because that's what's creating artificial inflation. When you say to McDonald's, you must hire these many people and you must pay $15, they're going to say, bet. And they're going to make a fucking automated kitchen. And they're going to have 2 people who are working the line in that automated test kitchen to find out how much can they automate before they have to get the human instinct. And the fact of the matter is that that's what's led to almost every single business having a loyalty app. You don't have the manpower to hire the people to watch the restaurant, to physically be there on their hands and feet, working anywhere from a normal 8-hour shift to a 16-hour double, or a day and a half of time where they're working 8 hours and then they're doing all of the heavy lifting work for 4 hours for the shift that's coming in behind them, let alone the turnover for relief managers. You're not addressing the unpaid overtime or the training session for them to understand how to maneuver in the workflow.
I was waiting here for 5 minutes! Somebody wants me to go to bed early, apparently.
But they say you get called ungrateful, you get called unrealistic. You know what they say? You should be happy to have this job.
Something, 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 something. You can't even properly get hired at a place like Walmart or like Waffle House because of how difficult it is. To the point that sometimes even the temporary service jobs you need to apply to other places for are difficult to get jobs for. Because all of those jobs are being picked up by people who are nepotistically getting in at these companies because the companies only care about having bodies on the line. They don't actually care about the corporate environment and the hustle and move. You keep your head down, you do your job, you clock in, you clock out, that's all they care about. So your job positions that could go towards people that all they have to do is bust around with pencils and itinerary, or cut cards, or manual labor inside of a factory workshop around heavy and or hot metals, or assembly of objects. Things that are less glamorous than yapping online and playing video games and possibly getting called a slur by somebody's kid who's clearly truant from middle school. All of these things directly affect the ability to do shit, period. And yet people will look at that as being the same thing as being wage slaved because livable wage. It's horse donkey dick is what it is. It's 100% horse donkey dick. And it's unacceptable. Because it's a narrative, and that narrative is old and tired. If you don't know what your worth is, then no one can blame anyone but yourself for not doing what is necessary to make a world for yourself and to make a life for yourself. Everything flows from there. If you do nothing to improve your environment, knowing that you can need to make a change, then nobody can help you. And crying about it and saying that it's being done to you and not something that you can actively notice and move yourself away from, also bullshit. You don't have to live in the hood, and you don't have to give back to the hood if the hood just wants to simply steal from you. If your town is a place where people go to, quote, die, move!
But what they mean is you should be happy to be owned in installments. Is that where you're okay with? Do you see what I mean? Because the system ain't
Modern day slavery. The system, the system, the system, the system. The system, the system, the system, the system.
never been broken. It's working exactly as designed. You're supposed to confuse exhaustion with opportunity. That's what they want from you. So I want you to step beyond that. You don't want a livable wage. You want a worthy one, a dignified one that lets your soul stretch in the morning instead of
a wage that lets your soul stretch in the morning. Assuming that everybody gets to be an activist on the internet and everybody gets to yap to an audience and preach to the choir and make them feel good about the fact that it's not their fault that they are where they are in life, but instead somebody else's. It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man. That same one-armed man who's currently fucking my wife while I watch from the commander cuck chair. If it's always somebody else's problem, then it's never yours. And if it's somebody else's problem, and it's just simply borrowing today and stealing from one guy to pay Tom, Dick, and Harry on Tuesday, so that you can be able to get it from Elijah, Abraham, and Ahmed on Friday, well, who cares, right? It's just the way the system works. Debt slavery. Debt slavery. Pay no wages, have no mortgages. Debt slavery.
calculating survival by lunch. Stop asking for livable. Ask for restorative. Ask for sustainable. Ask for expansive. Ask for soft. Ask for unapologetic. Ask for beautiful, because you were never born to budget your breath. I just want you to see where I'm coming from. Living wage conceptually is the floor, because but here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? If living wage is your moral standard, It's the floor. Humans were never meant to live at the floor. So we got to get beyond this. We got to look at the true demands. We need a soul-compatible economy. No paycheck should require you disconnected from your child's milestones or your spiritual center to maintain. I just want that to be clear. We also need narrative dignity, not just enough money, but we need the right to be unmonitored, the right to be unpoliced, the right to be unperformed for capital. Not to say that your value only exists or is earned through work, because that's what livable means. That's what makes it so gentrified, because
Livable means livable. The thing that you're explaining, Cypher, isn't livable wage. You're trying to beatify the idea that you can be able to take a fucking trip to Cabo, that you can go to the Steve Harvey morning show shit that's happening in florid vistas when he's not harassing people as he's trying to close out his fucking tenure on Family Feud. You're talking about being Instagram official instead of actually being able to go on vacation when you want. The kind of thing that I could describe myself right now. Being able to go with Zulian's family, his blood family, on a cruise ship. I would like to do that. I can't, because I have to be here. Star's going to be going. Zulian's going to be going. These things is just a part of the experience. It's life. Oh well. I'll get to see the pictures and the videos. Because the reason they're going on the cruise is not to have a vacation. One of the great grandparents on that side of the family is going to be dead soon. So when they die, they're going to be going on a remembrance cruise. Because that's what people that are established can do. They can do things like that. That's livable wage. What they do for money over there is that they own properties. They manage properties, they own properties, they have stocks, they have stock options, they have backups, they have Roth IRAs, they have generational wealth. And they've set their children up for success, not for failure. Star and I come from one side of the track. They come from the other side of the track. Even though, granted, I never came from the hood. Never, not ever, have I ever been of the hood. I've had to live around it. I've had to deal with people who are from it. I've had to deal with the elements of it affecting my life. But I've never been a Section 8 housing welfare child. But I have been a Lotkey kid. And unfortunately, considering how the economy currently is working, my background and Jay's background are the exact same. The same way that Star's background and my background are parallel to each other on two sides of the poverty coin. The closer we get to poverty, the more it looks like the world that Cypher J is talking about. With the key caveat of, well, if you don't want to do it, I will support you in whatever way possible to let this and this and this happen so you can go do this. Like, you don't have to work at Walmart forever, bro. The fuck? You don't have to work at a chicken shop forever, bro. You don't have to be indebted to thousands of dollars of student aid and student loans because we were sold and told that we needed a fucking 4-year degree in order to be fucking worthy of hiring. Higher education is important, but we did not need to go that path because that's what set us up for failure. Our generation being told, this is what you have to do in order for this to work in the society. And then the boomers, as we live in a world that we were never prepared for, telling us, why don't you just work harder and pull yourself up in the bootstraps? The reality is that you have to move to identify and adapt to the world's requirements of you. Not you demanding that the world needs to pay you something that it can't afford because that money isn't even going to Americans. But I digress.
Implies that your value is still earned through work, but to be valued is to be allowed to be without needing to justify your own breath.
Bullshit. That's bullshit. You have to justify everything. Any and everything you pay for in this world, you have to be able to justify. Oh, you want a piece of candy? Why? Because you want it. That's justification. Oh, you want to be able to make $1,000 investment into your streaming career? Why? Because I need this particular thing in order to make it better. I need to pay for this service in order to make the internet connection stable. I need to pay for this so I can be able to have a green screen. So I can remove the flourish of having webcam. So I can even make my setup better if I already did not have it, to make it more professional. Professional, air quote. Which in of itself is a bit of a cope, because you're paying into a sink that you don't necessarily need to have. A Steam Deck? You can have that to change scenes better. An XLR microphone setup that costs more than the parts installed in your computer? You don't need that shit. You can get away with a fucking plug-in microphone just like everybody else. More than likely, it's running off of micro USB. Pick it up for cheap. Replace it for less. Upgrade some standards as you go. You don't need to have the biggest and best and brightest, but you should be making incremental changes over time. Because you start from nothing, and then you work to populate a space. That's how it works, Cypher. You don't work from, I deserve to have, because this flower on my desk is the integrity I have to work at your store. That's never been how it works.
That's value. But livable wage still does that. So still puts us in that position. So we need narrative dignity. But we also need economic softness. Not comfort for the rich, but systemic gentleness. We need
systemic gentleness. What does that look like? Does it start with the hoods not robbing each other and stealing from each other and destroying each other and destroying the neighborhood, burning down the Wendy's, ransacking the Target, stealing from the Walmart constantly, to the point that asset protection must always look over the top 10 stolen items so that you feel like you're being accosted even though you are part of the demographic that is stealing those items, and not just outright theft of mugging from the store, but stealing through self-checkout and trying to finesse the system. No one wants to talk about that part. That part's very important. Plenty of people want to talk about we deserve to be treated better, but they're not willing to play by the same rules, even when they are already favored by the system.
we need to truly, and I say this with so much depth, we need to be able to put ourselves in a position, group wide, where we can make mistakes without it becoming a generational curse. Because what you want isn't just a livable wage. You want dignity. You want room to be able to fall, recover, and try again without the state anticipating your ruin. Communal infrastructure, not even founded in personal income, but shared systems that hold us. Right?
There is no system that collectively holds an entire person group and personhood if they are not willing to accept that they are a part of a caste and class system. You want class recognition and you want class solidarity? You have to stop letting rich kids play at revolutionary. You want us to have peace in the Middle East? You have to stop fucking sloganeering and actually do acts of kindness. White women communists that are willing to farm in my fucking state and in my town are doing free medical work. And then they're selling that shit back to the fucking farmer's market so they can run a no-cost clinic. What is in your wallet, Cypher J? Is it a card that says, oh, I gotta get up at the farm and gotta go to the fucking co-op at fucking 10 a.m.? Nope, it don't. Because social media is your world. And the social media world does not understand that difference. Because anything to go viral does not look the same as anything to survive. It doesn't. A content creator like myself doing anything for work that they're more than happy to be willing to do, and a woman selling herself on the internet for money, they're not the same thing. One person is going to be benefiting a lot more because of the fact that they're a woman and they can shake their gams for cash more than I can shake my gams for cash, despite the fact that I don't want to. And yet, if I make a profit off of the work of my mind, the same way that you can, Cypher J, that's progress. I created value out of nothing, and someone paid me for it. Just because I was me. That is dignity. I didn't have to shuck and jive and play at the game of playing social politics to the blacks. Because how do you dignify that shit? How do you signify that shit? The amount of people that want to say blackface, digital blackface, minstrelsy, and yet they are more than happy to make a goddamn buck off of what they perceive to be a social slight that nobody should ever do. The sheer fact of the matter is that you are fucking embarrassed. You are embarrassed of where you come from. You are embarrassed of what you have. You think you deserve to have more, and you are not willing to do a single thing to earn it the right way, without having to victimize somebody. Your particular victim is you choose the whites, the male monsters. Most people's victim is the acceptable bully of the outgroup, so they can beat them like a whipping boy and a red-headed mule. And if there is Islamic, fuck it like one. Because the fact of the matter is, when it comes to the facts, when it comes down to brass tacks, you are unhappy with where you are and you want to achieve higher than your position, but you don't know how to climb up the ladder that other people pulled up in front of you, so you're simply making a tower of bodies of people that are supposed to help you get somewhere, and you're stepping on their heads and necks, breaking them and crushing them on your way up, because you are unhappy when you find me in the same place that you are to actually drink from the same fountain. Call it colorism, call it ableism, call it a bunch of other shit. The sheer fact of the matter is that you will not bring everybody to the table because you do not believe that everybody comes to the table fairly. Whether you say skin folk ain't can folk, or we can't have whites at the table, there is no cookout, we need class solidarity and understanding now because the gingers think that they down with the N-words. The fact of the matter is that you are embarrassed of what it means to actually have social change. And you are too far down the commie pot to realize that you have pissed away the cobble pot. Because you are too terrified to even sip the same coffee from a pot that none of y'all niggas want to touch. And then you want to call that black excellence. You are afraid to even sip the same coffee from the pot you won't touch, calling everyone that's not in the racial group, perceptively to you, by optics and narrative alone, as not worthy and good enough. But you expect everybody to listen to you say livable wage, I deserve to have the right to go on vacation, livable wage. You guys should be paying for my way through the world, livable wage. I want to be able to afford shit that I don't fucking need, because it makes me feel better. I feel like I'm a person. I'm dressed to deck like $1 million, but I don't have a goddamn dollar in my goddamn name. I ain't got 2 pennies to press together. It's the most anti-fucking consolidation message you could ever put together. And when you push them on it, knowing damn well that you're a product of capitalism, you'll sit there and act like, yeah, I'm the biggest socialist. Yeah, I'm the biggest commie. Bitch.
Right, so think about something like this. Because the world, livable wage, sometimes gets framed through this narrow line of sight where you just look at the world like through a lens of you versus the rent. And it's not you versus the rent. We were never meant to individually out-hustle the collapse. Right. I just want you to gather yourself in the context of this, because sometimes when we talk about livable wage, it isn't reasonable. Because a true economy is based on the time that you have and not the money. So when you're talking about livable wage, you don't even just want the wage, you want the time. So we got to make sure we talk about having enough freedom that your nervous system can stop bracing. Because what's the point of livable if your soul is still surviving every clocking? So we don't want livable wages. We could do so much more damage. So much more damage. We want soul compatible labor, time sovereignty, narrative dignity. We want gentle consequences and communal rootedness, safety without surveillance, and a future that doesn't require us to fracture to earn light.
Then stop stealing. Can you do that, Cypher? Can you get the black community to stop stealing from each other? Can you get it to be a cultural fact that we stop having people say you need to have a gun all the time because you don't know when you're going to get robbed in the hood? Can you do that? How about undo minimum wage on a federal level? And when you scream saying, no, no, take your hand off the H-1B visa, open your eyes up, and realize that they could be paying you more based on experience. Intern at a job. There's a job on the site. Do the work. Show up. Put in the effort to learn more. Show initiative. Oh my God! $25! We're almost done, Sidwin. You don't have to go anywhere. We might even end up early having to stop because my fucking internet keeps cutting in and out. And I don't want to have to keep having to stop and start. Anyways. When you can master the black community stopping themselves from hating on two dark people and two light people and coming up with justifications to call them pick-mishas. And what did they call them? What did they call them the other day from that woman's post? What did they call him? What do they call them? Where is it? Where is she? This woman.
You look
the Ku Klux Keishas. When you can master that, when we can master that, Justin, when we can master the ability to stop people from hating them for the oldest forms of colorism, then we can talk about social reform. Until then, we ain't got shit to talk about, bro. What else did I have in the vlogs here? Was that everything that I had added on? I think it was. Yeah. So let's go further down. Because I think we got to down here. Yeah. We got to down here. And I played something from Holy Fool for you guys as a moment of Zen leaving. So we should be here.
Hi everybody, this is
I present to you Womp Tomp.
Womp Tomp. I'm on a new account because they took my other account behind the woodshed. I think the injuries are fatal.
This individual is very popular. At the very minimum, he is on a level of Homath. His clips go viral frequently. He has a lot of good talking points that are relative to the world and shit. Blah, 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 blah. He will probably be all over some of the backlog here, if I can get to his stuff. Same thing with people like the older millennial. But let's keep going. I think we did not cover therapy didn't fix you. We're due like 5 minutes out of this.
It's going to be a tough one for some people, but therapy didn't heal you. It just made your pain sound educated. Because you didn't stop hurting. You just learned how to talk about your pain in a way that made everyone else feel safe.
This, as much as I can disagree with a person, is the truth. Therapy speech, and the reason why I hate it so voraciously, is because it gets malpropted. Therapy speech and learning therapy speech does not heal you. Therapy speech gives you the tools and the mindset upon which you need to enact self-healing to yourself. That's why the hardest level of therapy is shadow work. You don't need a therapist in order to work through your traumas and your griefs and your reactions and your stimuli, so that the things that once before in the past triggered you no longer create that reaction in you. Because that's true character growth. There are parts of society that have trained proper responses in public, as is the case also with the internet. Because people like to rage bait, they confound the two or intentionally get them wrong and then try to make people act out of their character to show how unsettled and how not calm they are. This probably being the biggest problem with black people. Even has a name, mad black woman disease, or mad black woman syndrome. You accuse me of an emotion that I'm not showing, and the more that you intentionally try to rage bait and irritate me, the more I demonstrate the annoyance that I did not have that I now do have, because you're accosting me in a way that does not actually have a rational background that is justified from the position from which it is happening at the time that it occurs. I go into a restaurant, I open the door for somebody, they say, I ain't asked you to open the door for me. You ain't getting none. Dusty. Ma'am, all I did was open the door. Why are you calling me ugly? That's so hurtful. Oh. And then you move on about your day. Things like that, you don't need therapy for. But you do have to take time to meditate and consider what's making you feel that way. I'm certain it doesn't end there.
You said inner child instead of abandon me. You said attachment style instead of fear that no one else will stay. You explained your triggers with full sentences, but your body was still bracing for that next door to slam shut. That wasn't healing. That was etiquette.
This is a post about rejection, effectively. Bracing for rejection, fearing rejection and opportunities lost, trying to deal with the things that haunt you as a child and dealing with your inner child as well as with your dark passenger so that you can balance out your dark triad and not just become a monster of a person. All of this is relevant, but it's all being framed in the perspective that it's black people that need this shit. You think these dudes know what the hell self-reflection is? Because if they did it, they wouldn't be making videos like this. Some people do anything for money. I don't know what to tell you. Actually, I do know what to tell you, but I'll get me banned off Twitch.
You and I both know this. That was trauma that learned how to wash his hands before you did. That was performing safety in a world that only applauds survival if you say it calmly. And they praised you for that, didn't they? They said you were self-aware, said you were emotionally intelligent. They clapped hands for your composure, but then asked what it cost to hold it. Now you're fluent in healing talk, and you can name every wound, but sometimes you say I'm working on boundaries. But what you really mean is I'm tired of being taken from. See, therapy, weaponized therapy talk gets real serious. Because when you say I'm in my soft era, what you really mean is I'm too tired to fight anymore, and I hope my softness protects me this time. You didn't get better, you got fluent. And fluent pain is still pain. That's the whole trap of it. Because language without metabolization becomes performance. Insight without integration becomes a trauma echo. And that trauma echo becomes content in your life. So now...
And dancing and singing in front of a crowd saying all this shit becomes the actions of a jigaboo. But you're not going to get called a coon. I will. Because I'm telling you to your face, in my own content, as well as telling anybody who wants to hear it. This is the reason why you don't get the change you fucking want. No amount of reacting to, and no amount of giving money to fucking liars, cheats, and swills, like the Nebula niggas, are going to get you closer to understanding the world. It will not happen. It will not happen. This is why FD Signifier is such a goddamn problem. This is why Cypher J is such a goddamn problem. This is why Sebastian, a foreign man in a foreign land, is such a problem. It is the reason why any content from a person attempting to make you have some type of perspective that's supposed to make you involved, understood, engaged is dog shit. None of this is going to help you. None of it. None of it. This black media analysis and the reviews of black media is regurgitated nonsense. That is just writing trends. After being platformed by other people who will harass your family and stalk you and dox you and try to get your children taken away by child protective services while laughing about it being content. But hey, look, therapy ain't therapy talking be content, bros. Therapy talking be content. When you start talking about manipulative people getting into influencer culture and becoming influencers that effectively influence nothing, such as the likes of people like Bad Empanada, then we'll have something to talk about. When you start calling them out by name and saying, and this motherfucker's weird for that, we don't got shit to talk about. Because we're not seeing the same world. Because guess who did it first, Cypher? BreadTube did. The left wing did. Any person who used to vote Democrat. Just cuz. Vote blue no matter who did. The party of the Justice Democrats, the party of AOC, and the party of any fucking influencer just trying to get close to power and trying to have the perception of public acclaim, but with none of the actual somatic healing techniques to demonstrate anything, is why everybody's got something to say, but nothing to contribute. Moving on.
Now your trauma is...
AI video, meme, another fucking clip of Jason Thor Hall. I need to start I need to start middle clicking these because it takes me to go back to the list every time.
God's honest truth. If you don't like the way that I'm making my game, make a game. My whole platform is to encourage you to be creative and do things.
The more I keep seeing clips coming from places like Streaming Pirate, the more I have to remember that the people who are making these clips aren't necessarily on the side of Jason Thor Hall and the brand of Pirate Software. They're just putting them out there because he's doing his best to become Steve Shives and adopt the technique of the Boulder Boy with blocking the world and then taking people's content down and trying to claim their content so that they can't, quote, make money off of him. Because he perceives every single person who's criticizing him as an evil stalker and doxer who wants to murder him using swatting tactics to get him harassed, even though he's already in touch with his local law enforcement. So that would never happen to him. But he'll brag about saying that it's happening anyways to make you feel like you're a piece of shit for calling him out about his fucking crybaby behavior. It's an eye-roll worthy moment. You make your platform because you care about people making games. So why are you so resistant against the coding Jesus criticizing the fact that your code is more than likely written by AI? Because you don't understand your code so that you can simplify it further, despite the fact that you always have it in front of you and behind you on your broadcast. Doesn't make sense, bro.
Make the game. Do it. That's not me being a... I mean that. Make a video game. Why do you think it says go make games in the title of the stream? Make a game. Make one. Do it. Do it. Stop about it and do it. Do it. Go make a game. Why do you think I run game jams? Why do you think I run websites like that? You think I make money off that shit? All that shit's free. Do it. Make a video game. It's the whole point.
I know this tactic. Content creator gets harassed by someone. Or rather, criticized. They contextualize it as harassment. Man, you don't even know what the fuck you're doing with your own game. How long have you been developing your game? For fucking 7 years, bro? Well, if you think it's so easy, why don't you go make one? Go make a game. Go make a game, bro. Go make a game. It's a boring tactic. But even if you decided to put together your first video game using some paint assets that you drew using Wojak outlines, it's a start. You probably get some boot.dev, figure out how to code in Python, you know, get something off the ground, have some feedback response, text adventure, something like that. It's entirely possible. Anyone can technically do it. But the way that Thor uses it, he keeps hiding behind this persona of attempting to pretend that we did not see him act the way that he has. So every single clip that we see, it's truthfully beating a dead horse. But you know, I love horse meat. I just better not share with Vosh.
Do it. Tearing me down isn't going to get that done. Go make it. Make the game.
Oh yeah, they still want to sell. They get really mad. People get angry when it's like not on sale. They get angry when it's like not out immediately. They get angry because it's easy to attack me because I'm a streamer. They'll attack it because they're like, he streams 12 hours a day. It's like, yeah, I also work on it 4 hours a day and then 16 hours on Wednesdays and Thursdays. You know, like that's how that works. And it's just, people don't understand what it's like making a video game, which is why I run the game jams, why I stream game development, why I do all the stuff that I do to try and normalize and get people to understand what it's like to be a dev.
The problem with this is that you don't actually explain what it's like to be a dev because you don't act like a developer. You act like a drama queen who hides behind the tag of being a developer so that when somebody criticizes you about something, you say, well, what do you know about game development? And that doesn't work. You give all developers and all private server runners and owners and members and players a bad fucking rep. If I acted this way about emulation, I would deserve getting roasted and memed and shed on by my own chat. But I don't. I just tell people, hey, if you want to use a PS1 or PS2 emulator, you should go use PCSX1 and PCSX2. Plug and play any USB controller you want to your computer, download the ISOs and ROMs from whatever site you can find them, and have fun. Best era of video games. Easiest to crack, hack, and homebrew. Playing private servers and doing emulation is what got in doing my shit. That's why in that conversation with the developer, I blew his ass out the goddamn water. Nobody can explain the perception of a person who understands what it's like to be a player and a developer. It's like fully understanding a game so intrinsically that you can actually start giving suggestions for buffs and nerfs and balance patches. Because you understand what's healthy and what's not. The idea of sitting on a rock and deciding that you are king of fuck shit mountain and that you can control what another person does, what another person perceives, what another content creator gets to have, as though only through you can knowledge about game development be divined. That is the ego that gets you trolled, Jason. And that is why you remain King Local, Lord of Mana. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. Next.
Misogyny is causing the male loneliness epidemic. The misogynists get women.
Honest truth. One of the things that I do not like now that male loneliness has transformed into male loser, misogyny is causing the male loneliness epidemic. What do you mean? Fresh and Fit get ass every single goddamn weekend in Miami. The men that are the most toxic and the most fucked up are the ones that attract women because women are attracted to toxic men that have power. The good women would not be attracted to it. They'd be put off by it, and they'll avoid that. But the hyperfluous women, the women that want to monkey branch and want to have Instagram official statements about how much money they're getting flown out, getting dug out, getting broken, getting cracked, getting busted, busting it wide open, for Saudi princes, that's not what causes the male loneliness epidemic. What causes it is the fact that men have gotten sexual fucking understanding, knowledge, and discipline. And they are learning to be alone. And they are happy to be alone. Unlike the MGTOWs that decided to go their own way and swore off women forever. Many of them, even including idols such as mine, like Dr. Ramiragam, they found women that they can actually coexist with. They found them. They stood in the wild long enough that they actually found one. And they took them. And they locked them down. And they said, all right, now that we've found people that understand each other and we can function, what do we do about this dog shit? Looking back at society as a whole. To where still single men and still single women in the society are being told by two different sides that one side is responsible for making men into pussies, and the other side is responsible for being pussied enough to be weak enough to be broken by the women that made them pussies to begin with. Because teach men not to rape turned into men will never approach you because they don't want to be created into a social media terror that then gets harassed because they looked at you funny when you were in between sets. It's crazy to say otherwise. But, you know, that's narratives. That's what happens when your culture is based on gynocentrism.
I'm gonna just let that breathe for a second. Most incels are incels not because they're misogynist, but because women simply do not like them. There's a lot of incels who are in multiple friend zones and their female friends love them and would never call them a misogynist. Y'all calling Mr. 6'3" got money and treats women bad. Y'all talking misogyny.
I rolled my finger.
It's not because they're misogynist, but because women simply do not like them. There's a lot of incels who are in multiple friend zones and their female friends love them and would never. Misogyny is causing the male loneliness epidemic. The misogynists get women. I'm gonna just let in multiple friend zones and their female friends love them and would never call them a misogynist. Y'all calling Mr. 6'3" got money and treats women bad. Y'all talking. That's the misogynist. He's slaying shit. The podcast bros, as crazy as it sounds, like No Fugazi, even these niggas are the worst. Fresh and Fit. Yo, bro, they get women, bro. They're rich. Guys on these podcasts who y'all hate and think are the biggest, Andrew Tate. Yeah, they're rich. They're tall. They're handsome. There's women around them. A lot of them are married. The guys y'all call the misogynists, they're not the incels. The ones you literally wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. Those are the incels.
Truth. That's probably the thing that annoys me a lot when people reach for incel, especially as an insult or just as a derogatory term to call somebody who disagrees with them. The incels? People that are self-announced like Richard in our community? Sorry to say, they are stuck in choice paralysis. The world is their enemy. No one can help them. They have no idea what to do. Any suggestion you give them is the wrong answer. They don't know what to do, so they're just stuck there. And you're like, all right, it's in God's hands. I can't help you. That's an insult. Won't work on yourself. Won't deal with yourself. Won't learn from your problems. Won't improve yourself. Won't change your outcome and circumstances in your life. Won't change your perspective. Won't learn about somebody else's perspective and consider that there's something that you're not seeing. That's what makes an incel. Then there are a lot more femcells than male incels. But we don't talk about the women that are incels because unfortunately those women are convinced that they're a part of the Heart Babe movement. That they're one of the ones that are actually good and know what they're doing. Which is in and of itself a problem. For obvious reasons. in ways that are ridiculous, if not retarded. If not retarded. And it's not made better, it's made more annoying. Because everybody wants to have an opinion. And nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about. Not well enough and not often enough for it to be a commonality. I think the rest of these are just memes. Yes, I think the rest of these are just memes. Although, I think some of you might not have seen this.
Hey, TikTok, the Running Man trailers.
They're remaking The Running Man. And it actually looks okay. More about that later. It's going to be coming out November 7th. More than likely, it will get watched during that month's movie night. I do not remember if there was anything else particularly on here that I was really burning to show. I don't think there is. I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about that was in the backlogs.
Did you pull out in time?
Yeah, I pulled out.
Oh, okay.
That's
What you say?
Women doing quirky stuff. One of the creators that I followed decided she wanted to cosplay as this character, and she was killing it. No, I don't think so. No. Unless it's this one? Let me check.
Stop talking about men being chopped. Because guess what? You bitches talking about these men being chopped, they're not gonna use your image. They're gonna use mine.
Okay, that's one. That's one. Chopped Man Epidemic. I think I gave takes about this, but I don't remember when. And I don't remember if I did it in a short or if I did it on camera. Okay. Chopped men are supposed to be ugly. Women that know that they can be made to be ugly know that they're going to be the ones targeted because people will easily go after them for more than enough reasons that a person would not expect another person to go after them. For whatever they feel is a justified way to target them as being bad. A couple of the posts that I posted, ones that are shorts, was in reference to this. Because chopped men being chopped and being attacked for being 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, but not immediately attractive conventionally, means that they get harassed and ignored, while those women that claim that they are a 10, but they are at best a 3.2 with makeup, want to harass those men that are just simply normal in the middle. If this did not occur as frequently and often as it does, it wouldn't be so often that it appears, because all of the reasons why it is common. So, for example, this take.
You're combative, and you think how a man ought to be, but God forbid a man tells you how you have to be. So stop hiding behind "a man can't handle me" cliche. Girl, handle yourself. You're a person, not a zoo creature. People shouldn't have to handle you. You're a grown woman. Handle your own emotions. Handle your own issues. Work on them. Get therapy. Get Jesus. For goodness sakes, grow up before expecting somebody to walk into a relationship with you and taking over all that heavy duty baggage that you have because you're walking around erroneously thinking that you're the biggest catch of the season. But you know what? You got more issues than Vogue, and you know it. And men can't say anything to you. They can't point anything about you. Suddenly you get offended. How will you treat men like they're your little project? And if they're not willing to let you mold them to what you think they should be, suddenly they're not men enough for you. Girls, sit down and let Jesus handle all of that mess before you walk around talking about men can't handle me.
Effectively, that and its propriety. These two sides, back and forth. Women that are chopped in the middle gotta be told, shut the fuck up, the men are gonna come after me, not you, and I'm not even attacking them. The married women, who are being called pick-me-shas, telling them, bitch, you know you crazy. Why are you acting like this? Why are you being stupid? Stop it. Stop acting out. You're being crazy. If I remember this one particularly.
Oh, I just checked my Hinge likes and wow.
Yes, this is the one.
Wow, these uglies, these uggos really think they have a chance with me? Bitch, they called you hot! They gave you a fucking compliment, you dumb whore!
Yeah, that's the one. One group telling them, leave them fucking alone because they're not going to come after you, they're going to after me. The pick-me-shas and the married women telling them, go to church, go to therapy, get those demons exorcised. Oh, you don't want to take advice from me? I got a man. Just worry about yourself. And then these women, on the other side, completing the triangle trifecta. Girl, you complain about these dusties, these nerds, these prudes, these Poindexters, these losers. Bitch, they want to eat a cupcake out your ass! They want to eat a cupcake out of your ass! And all you have to do is be nice. Be nice. Talk to them nice. But the social media egos got them so riled up that they don't fucking do that. Because they got a stunt out for everybody else on the platform. Because if they're seen talking to an incel nicely, they're going to be cut out the sisterhood. Despite the fact not a single one of these bitches is going to do shit. Because they're waiting for somebody else to give them the okay. And that's the tea. For the most part. I think that was the last thing. Ooh. Oh, and then there's this one too. Even the hoes, even the horse, are not on the side of the women when it comes to chopped men and chopped women. I'm a survival hoe. Your husband pays me instead of a therapist to come complain about the fact that you pay more attention to kids and ask me if I have an actual school uniform. They are not safe. It's so dire. It's so dire for the girls. It's so dire for the girls, chat. It's so dire for the girls. And I think that's everything. I think that's literally everything.
Who's calling that? Who's calling that shit? Who's calling that shit?
Yeah, that's everything. I'm finally happy to clear out my goddamn folds. Now to figure out if I can be able to solve the internet problem. Because I would like to do broadcasting work later. But I don't want to have to fucking sit here for 5 to 10 minutes at a time while my shit disconnects. It's getting hot. Like, hot, hot. I at least have a properly functioning fucking air conditioning system. Star is burning alive in like 85-degree weather inside the house. Because she can't get her cooler to cool any faster. I hope you all learned something. I hope your blood pressure's regulated. But it is a shitty, shitty world out there in the dating scene right now. All of you that are out there, you have my condolences. Because remember, the bar is below the floor because you're in hell. Because these women are demons. They are demons. And the fucking men are imps. Stay safe. Protect yourselves. Protect your neck. Alright. I am leaving now. I leave you with my wisdom. And with my karma. Bye, everyone. I will see you all later.